did you first know? When were you first inspired? How did that process begin before you actually got to the Nuggets?
So looking back on everything, you know how you can look back on your life and go, oh, that's why, it's a good thing that happened, or, this helped me with that, and, kind of point me in the right direction. And, even starting out, even before the mascot side of things, I was just that kid that was climbing all over stuff and trying to, do flips off of stuff, and, hey, mom and dad, teach me how to do back handsprings in the backyard. Everybody asks me if I was a gymnast. No, I just say I was a backyard gymnast, and my parents taught me a lot of it. And, my dad was a high school cheerleader, a college cheerleader, and he was always doing that kind of stuff and crazy stunts himself. And then, I just, as a kid, we were always up for an adventure. It was always, when I was 8 years old, we won't get sidetracked on this, but when I was 8 years old, my parents let me, my brother, and my sister hike across the Mojave Desert when I was 8 years old by ourselves. So we were always doing crazy stuff. Took us a week. It was just me. I was 8. My brother was 12. My sister was 13. And
you all were by yourselves?
Yeah, for 7 days. They came out and checked on us twice and bring us food and things like that.
I'm going to use that with my...
Right?
Wow. I have a new consequence for my 5-year-old. Thank you.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, just a different kind of childhood. And one of my heroes when I was a kid was, not one of, but two of my heroes were Shields and Yarnell. They were mimes. So I loved walking around my house and doing talent shows and on as a mime. I would, for the shows, not at home, but for the shows, for the talent shows, I would do the whole face paint and everything, makeup, do mime shows and yeah. And I was, when I was about 15, I saw the San Diego Chicken dive out of a helicopter. He landed on the field, but he dove out onto the grass at a baseball game, and I was hooked.
You're like, I want to do that.
I was like, that guy gets paid for that. I'm doing that.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So
Nice.
I started in high school, put myself through college with scholarships, and ended up here with the Nuggets, or like calling up the Nuggets when I was here on an internship in 1990 with the Rocky Mountain News at the time, and just called them up and started selling myself to them.
Awesome.
What'd you do for the Rocky Mountain News?
I was a summer sub, basically, for the area district managers. So I was a fill-in district manager. I was basically a glorified paper thrower. If kids didn't show up, I had to cover that route that morning.
Yep. When you were in high school and college, were you also doing mascot stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
So junior and senior year of high school, I was my high school mascot, and then I went to a junior college in Idaho, Ricks College, which is now BYU Idaho, and was there for 3 years. It took me 3 years to graduate a 2-year school. I was pretty much let go after my first year. Your grades are not good enough. Please don't come back. So I went on a church mission for 2 years, came back, and they accepted me back. They gave me a scholarship, and I was like, I'm getting paid to be a mascot. Look at
That's
this.
awesome.
And did graduate from there, went to Utah State, and tried out. Actually, I tried out all over the place, and no one would give me more than $150 for the scholarship, and I was not going to take that. I figured I was worth more than that. So I ended up doing a game for Utah State. I said, just let me do a game for you.
Show you what I got.
Let me show you what I got. Mm-hmm. If you don't like me, that's fine. You got a free game. If you like me, let's talk money. And they offered me, after that, $150. I'm like, okay, thanks. And I drove home in a snowstorm, just licking my wounds and feeling discouraged. Mm-hmm. And then they called me back and said, time after time after time, I got several calls back, and I kept saying no. They kept increasing the price. I kept saying no.
Wow.
And they finally called me back and said, look, we've been pulling from everywhere, every department. This is what we can do. And it was pretty much a full ride everything but housing. And
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, okay, I'm your new mascot.
Good for you. You just became my new personal hero. Say, I love it. You know what you're worth, and you stick with it. You know, shows how talented you were and are. That's awesome.
Well, thank you. It was just a dream I had, and I was just following my nose.
Nice. And what was the mascot in Utah?
So it was a blue bull called Big Blue.
Okay.
Like a Red Bull, Blue Bull. Okay.
Yes.
I'm thinking of how was that cumbersome to move?
No,
Okay.
no, it did have a big head and horns,
Okay.
which I wasn't used to, but
Were you still doing backflips with the horns on top of
yes,
your head?
yes.
Wow.
Seriously.
Okay,
yes.
I need to see some videos of that.
Yes.
That's pretty special. Nice.
Yeah, and I have to articulate every time I have to really pronunciate that when I tell people.
Yes, I understand why.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
And I understand you did flips when you were really young. I mean, you did it to impress the girls or something, right?
Oh yeah.
I
Okay,
kinda
you read that. You read that article. Yeah. Third grade, showing off for my girlfriend Jennifer. Yeah,
Doing
hey, Jennifer,
flips
look,
on recess.
watch this. I'd line my friends up and all on their hands and knees and run and flip over them.
Nice.
That's how I started that.
Okay. And how did it end with you and Jennifer? Or how did it start? Maybe I should ask.
Well, let's put it this way. I ended up marrying a Jennifer.
But a different Jennifer than...
Different Jennifer.
I was
Yes.
like, wow, that's pretty amazing. It took a flip.
Yeah.
All right, boys and girls, if you have a crush, that's all you have to do.
That's right.
Go.
That's right.
Go be artistic and flip around. That's awesome.
What was I doing?
Chicks dig gymnasts.
Exactly. Apparently, man,
Nice.
been in the dark learning guitar. So you were working at Rocky Mountain News and calling up the Denver Nuggets. I guess how'd you hear that they were looking for a mascot? They weren't at all.
No,
Okay.
I called them out of the blue.
Out of the blue. Just you need a mascot.
I even asked them if they had a mascot because I didn't know. I wasn't from here. I knew nothing about the NBA. I just knew that I wanted to be in the NBA, and I had been to one. Actually, I'd been to one NBA game, and that was the Utah Jazz Nuggets game at Utah when I was at Rick's College. It was college night or whatever, and so I got to come down and do a routine with the cheerleaders and work the game. So I worked a Jazz game when I was in college, and then so back to Denver here.
Yeah.
Just called up Lisa Whitaker. And she was the game operations, game presentation person at the time. And so over the entertainment side of the show, and called her up and said, "Hey, I'd love to show you a VHS tape of,
That's awesome.
of what I can do and what I do." She was very gracious. She was such a sweetheart.
Nice. I am curious, with the other sports teams, what made you focus in on the Nuggets?
And basketball, really. I mean, I want to be a basketball NBA mascot. What made you focus in?
In college, my favorite games were basketball.
Okay.
I felt like I had more of a stage. I had more contact and closer contact with fans, which I loved working crowds. Smaller area, less distance to run to get to somebody else.
I'm imagining.
And I didn't have to worry about weather.
Right.
Oh, that's very smart.
That
Man,
is.
you put a lot of thought into
did.
that. Good for you. Yeah, I'm like, well, you have the football stadium. Yeah, running up and down Mile High. Yeah, you have weather, a long way to run. And, he doesn't interact as much. And I
Right.
totally agree. Man, watching you with the fans was so fun.
Yeah.
Like, people came to, the players are great, but they came to see you. I'm not going to knock the pros, but.
Especially in some of our down years where we were underperforming. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get into that for sure.
Oh, we will. So you called them up. You don't have a mascot. You need a mascot. This went on for a little while with Lisa.
I worked that all summer. I mean, I would call every week and say, "Hey, is there anything that I can, any more information you need from me? I'm just checking in." So I literally hounded her and got to know her, got to know Lisa, and she was starting to talk about me in the office a little bit. There's this guy, whatever. But I ended up going back to school, and, back then, no cell phones. So called her up one last time. Hey, this is going to be my number. Feel free to call me. I had never had an answering machine before. I went and got an answering machine just in case. And about a month and a half, 2 months later, a couple months later, Lisa called me up. Ring, ring, ring. Hey, we are going to have tryouts.
Really?
And I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. Yes. All right. What? So she's like, I really want you to try out. I'm like, okay, great. Well, tell me how. And so she told me the parameters, said, okay, make me a shorter video than the one she had to sit through first time. And
tell me it's an hour long.
Oh, it was awesome. Full video. It was a full VHS tape. Yeah. So, I got her, what she needed and everything, but, she said she needed a video, a resume, and then she opened it up. She said, and anything else you want to send us. And so I got to work. I was not going to just send the bare minimum. I went to work and I got every article, every newspaper, every video, everything that I could, compile or whatever, put it into the video, put it in a packet folder that, they could see all my articles. They could see, the impact that I had, everywhere I went, and it started from high school, all that stuff. But, I do tell this story for a reason, because I think that, again, it's so important for young people to understand that you have to stand out, obviously, right, and stand out in a positive way. And when I compile all this, I thought, you know what? I need the icing on the cake. I need something just a little bit more. So I thought, who's the biggest person I know in my world? And it was the president of I didn't know him, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to go ask the president of the university for a letter of recommendation. And I walked into his office, and it was kind of out of the blue, but I was out of the blue. And this lady that was sitting in this huge office saying that, wondering who I was, said, yeah, well, I'm the mascot. She's like, you're Big Blue? I'm like, what? Oh, you know me, and of course everyone knew me because the mascot was, on everything. But she followed that with, oh my gosh, the president loves you.
Oh, nice.
I'm like, oh, that is amazing.
Like, of course
I said, could you just get it? Yes, absolutely. I got a letter of recommendation from president's school and submitted all that. After I finished this with, after I got hired, I went back and did one more game where he came out. This was the first time I met him. He came out and presented me with a plaque.
Oh my gosh.
They paid for my parents to come up from Vegas. They presented them with flowers and da-da-da-da. My wife was there. All this big to-do at halftime, sending me off to the NBA.
That's very special. Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah. For those of you that are listening, follow your dreams. This is what I'm hearing through it.
Yeah.
You're so ambitious. If you want something, go after it. There's nothing to tell you don't do it. And stand out. I love that. We talk about that a lot on the station, is how can you be unique and in a very positive way? What can you go do for the community? Who else can you go talk to and build each other up? That's so amazing.
Yeah.
Good for you. Especially,
who do you know that knows somebody?
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't know them, who do you know that knows them?
Exactly.
A lot of it is about who you know.
Exactly
right there. And if you're just tuning in, we're talking with Kenn Solomon, basically invented Rocky Denver Nuggets here. And so how were the auditions when you got here?
Oh, they were so scary. Man, I was so nervous. I had to have this. There was no question. I had to have this. I drove out here from Logan, Utah, and I brought my wife, and I brought my sister. so that she could sneak into McNichols Arena and watch the tryouts.
She snuck in.
That's awesome.
Somehow, I told her, you have got to sneak in and tell me how I did compared to, because I cannot wait without knowing something until I get the call, yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Did she have a video camera, like whole 9 yards, like on her belly? Okay.
No.
That would be me, army crawling, and I'm like, don't mind the person on the floor.
No, back then the video cameras were massive. You could never, it was hold it on your shoulder. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And there were 4 other people. There was 5 of us that tried out in gorilla costumes.
Costumes.
Yeah, and they said, you got 6 minutes.
Okay.
So did they even know the concept of what Rocky was going to be, like the animal?
Yes.
They did, but they had everybody try out on gorilla.
Yes.
Okay.
They didn't. The costume wasn't completed yet.
Okay.
It was being created. It was designed and created by a company called Real Characters in Atlanta. They hired the current Atlanta Hawk to come and run the tryouts. So and he was working closely with the company that had created it. Okay. So it was a whole thing that was purchased or whatever by the Nuggets to to roll this out and do the whole backstory and everything. So there's a whole backstory to Rocky and how he became a mascot, why he has the lightning bolt tail and all that. But it was really scary. It was. I mean, everything on the line. I went full bore for 6 minutes, doing everything from dancing, dunking, beating up a dummy referee. I pulled out props. I had brought 2 hockey bags full of props. I'd probably only use 5 or 6 of them. But I was like, this is impressive. I was just gathering stuff from my house. I had to impress.
That's awesome. I love that you said hockey bags. That would have been funny. Did he have a hockey stick? I would have thought, does he know this is the NBA?
Yeah. I did not have a hockey stick. Because
that would have had some wonderful irony to it. Maybe dribbling with a hockey stick. I don't know. It's very creative. I like it.
6 minutes to do everything you can think of.
They said you got 6 minutes.
6 minutes. So you just went full on for 6 minutes, and then they
almost
said...
Puked.
Almost puked.
Okay. Almost.
Oh, you were nervous. Okay.
I was nervous, and I expended all my energy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you did something right, because they picked you.
Yeah.
Well, and then they said, thank you, and we'll call you later.
They said... Afterwards, they walked into the locker room. They would take us from one locker room. We'd try out, and then they put us in another locker room. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting in there. Actually, when I got done, I was laying on this bench trying not to puke. And still, finally, when the tryouts were over, the guy walks in, and I jump up, and I'm looking all spry, but my face is still beet red. And he's like, "Okay, well, hey, appreciate you all trying out, and we'll give you a call by 11 tomorrow morning." Went back to the hotel. 9:30 the next morning, I get a call. I'm like, no way. 9:30. Nice. I thought I had to wait till 11. Yeah, they said, come on over if you know. And I was staying in the circular hotel there. Used to be the Ramada.
It was right near
before
there,
it was Holiday Inn. Holiday Inn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
So they said, did they tell you you got it over the phone? Or?
They said, we'd like to talk to you about being our mascot. Mm-hmm. Talk about a contract. Would you mind, coming over?
Wow. Were you by yourself? Was
no,
your sister there?
No. So I had my wife and my sister there, and I was doing the happy dance on the bed there, and I said yes, I'll be right over. Give me 30 minutes, and I'll be there. Hadn't showered or anything yet, and I said, but first I got to call my dad.
Oh, nice.
And call my dad. So nervous, because my dad was so big on education. He wanted all his kids to go to school, get a degree. He had several himself, and I just thought he's just gonna put the kibosh on this. He's gonna discourage me from
doing it.
Yeah, and that wasn't him. It's just I just had this feeling like, this would be too good to be true, you know? Mm-hmm. So I called him up and I said, Dad, they are going to offer me this job. And I said, I will have to quit school. And, you know, they want me right now. Mm. And I said, sorry. I said, hey, I need your thumbs up on this. I need your okay. And he's like, let me ask you. He goes, what do you do? What do you go to college for? What do you do at college? What do you do? Why? And I said, well, to get a good job. He goes, you train, right? You learn how to do stuff. You've been learning for how long now? Since high school. Go, man, go. School will all be there. Always be there. And I'm like, all right. That's all I need. Thank you. Hung up the phone, did the happy dance on the bed, and man, showered, ran over to McNichols. Yeah, I walked in all sweaty. Trying to be cool.
That's
Good
cool.
thing you showered before it.
Yeah, right?
Well, they recognize you. You know, they're like, oh, the red face.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Exactly.
Well, I'm curious what the first, like, even couple games, couple tryouts were like the first year. I mean,
terrible.
Yeah, you got a brand new mascot. Nobody knows who you are. You know, and you're just supposed to be like, all right, entertain the crowd.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it was, and the fans were like, yeah, well, let's, entertain me. They were just so like, okay, this is a big to-do. You know, they've just made this big, unveiling here. Yeah. And so, show us what you got, punk. And it was that kind of attitude, and got a lot of heckling. And I was not NBA caliber yet.
No.
Interesting. Man,
why do
they
you say that?
You? Man.
I was still...
Well, you're still
I was still
new.
college. I was so, yes.
Yeah,
I was
it's
so,
your first year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And college, you just go out there and raise your hand, or you go out and do something. And I mean, you look over and just look at them. Crowd go nuts.
Right.
I mean, that's not an NBA crowd. You have to have a plan. Mm-hmm. You have to have entertainment. You have to have a beginning, a middle, and end. You have to tell a story.
Did someone help you develop what Rocky became, or was this really kind of your brainchild?
It was a lot of my personality. And I tell people all the time, push your personality through. Everything, your personality has to be magnified 100 times to be able to push through the costume, push emotion, to be able to communicate. And so a lot of what you saw was my personality on steroids, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it was just, and I knew early on, and I my thing was, don't ever look like a guy in a costume. And sometimes I'd be standing there and I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm not a character right now. So I was very aware of always be Rocky. Don't just stand there. If you're just standing there, you look like a guy in a costume.
Gotcha.
I like it.
And so the personality started to develop, and then, in life, I have a little bit of a edge to me, and I don't like to be told no, and I don't like, so a little bit of an attitude, and it plays well for that character anyways.
Yeah.
How long do you think it really took for you to feel comfortable in that? Like, I'm Rocky, they like me. All right, this is happening.
Probably 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years?
Yeah. I mean, because we were so bad back then. And I was so self-conscious still. I mean, if somebody said I suck, I was depressed and down and hurt and angry and all that until the next game. Mm-hmm. When I got told I suck again. So
I love I'm like you. I have a little bit of an edge. I don't know if you've gotten that from me, but man, if I would have been heckled, I would have loved it. I would have heckled right back. And if they would have said, you suck, boo, I would have laid down in the middle of the court and just like gotten a blanket and been like, you know what? I'm calling it a day. I'm just going to lay down. And if you don't like me, You can watch me sleep.
Yeah.
Did you do any of that? Did you play with anybody if they were kind of heckling you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Some of my, that's where I started picking on fans and,
How could
and
you
making it a
not,
bit.
you know?
That was my favorite part. Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Picking on fans, picking on players, just, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes I was told I took it a little too far, but it's all trial and error. I don't know if you've ever seen me or saw Rocky throw somebody's hat. That came from that. Oh, yeah. Okay. What'd you say? It's like, oh, wait, I can't hear you. And that's where I'd get close to them and I'd just grab their hat and hook it.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah. And a lot of times that was from the upper deck. Boom. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, good luck getting that back.
Yeah, exactly.
And
you can't heckle me.
No. And everybody around is like,
laughing.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they love it.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden that turns on them because they're getting, most of the time very angry. And
What was your most favorite kind of heckle back? Was it the hat or something else? With the fan kind of.
Well, I cut off a guy's man bun one time.
Oh
No.
my gosh! You just made Josh's entire year.
Yes, you did.
Yes.
That
He
is
has
awesome.
wanted. He calls it something else. Am I allowed to say this?
Sure.
Josh calls it a bitch biscuit.
Well, you can't say man anymore, right? Man is out of the language. So, yeah, you got to call it something else.
That is,
Every time we see it, we talk about it, and you did it.
You cut it off.
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. But what was great about that is then it was like carrying around a scalp. Everybody wanted a picture with it.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, that's the man bun. Can I selfie?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I should have charged for that.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's a big one. I love that.
Yeah.
Do you still have it? Do you have it
No.
framed somewhere in your house?
No. I think I ended up having it near the end of the game. I think I had Cade here run it back up to him. And
After it was
give
cut
to
off?
him.
Give it
Yeah.
back to him.
Yeah, give it back to him.
You can glue that back on. If
Hey
you
man,
want.
no hard feelings. Here it is.
Well, that was nice of you to return his man bun.
I bet quite a few of these escalated with the people that you were messing with.
Well, that one in particular, another fan got kicked out because of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He, as I'm walking away with this man bun in the air, walking down the steps, another fan threw a beer on me.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
just, and I think he was. I don't think he was even. He was a opposing team fan, but I don't think he was even. That was a Clippers game, and
That happened. Huh?
yeah, and I think he's a Blazers fan.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Did that happen a lot? Did you get stuff chucked at you and food and beverages?
People
and stuff?
fighting back.
Oh,
people-
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You smelled probably really good after some of those games.
some of those. Yeah. I had to change my clothes every once in a while.
Yeah, a lot of dry cleaning. I'm
Yeah.
sure for Mr. Rocky. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah, I got. I had to pay for a lot of dry cleaning for others as well.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I think I need to be a mascot. But I would be fired day one. I'd be like, no, you have too much sass.
Did you have to get a little bit comfortable before you started messing with the players a little bit and the actual, performers and cheerleaders? And I mean, the fans, one thing, maybe start with that? Or was it just, nope, I'm just going to mess with everybody?
Well, nowadays as in the NBA now, it's a different world. Back then, it was the Wild West ish type of thing.
Could get away with more.
It was new. The NBA was just loving mascots, and in the last 10, 15, actually 15 years, they started to pull back. They pulled back. I mean, we were getting too much airtime. We were getting too much attention, things like that. We were pushing the envelope. You can't stand on the rim anymore during a game.
Right.
What? Yeah, I get that one. Okay. But
yeah, they don't want to get sued.
What about after the game? I was always pushing those envelopes.
Right.
That's awesome.
But it's a different world now. And back then, players loved messing with mascots. Now you're told you cannot mess with any players unless you have their permission. But more importantly, you can't mess with referees unless you have their permission, unless you talk to them beforehand. And I mean, it is so regulated now.
Right.
Now, what constitutes as getting their permission?
You have right?
Can you get a quick head nod? And,
no, you literally now have to knock on their door pre-game.
Oh my gosh!
Be escorted in with a policeman.
Oh wow!
Wow,
that's
and
ridiculous. So you're going
to these guys.
Okay.
Yep, and in front of of the others, get a verbal. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I would say you get a microphone at the beginning of the game. And you say, I'm going to mess with every single person that steps foot in this arena. And can everyone unanimously say, okay?
I love how you think.
Well,
great.
I mean, I'm not. Are you going to go to every single player's house beforehand? Like, that's just ludicrous.
Yes,
I'm just trying to be more efficient. Exactly.
Can you sign this release form?
Quick petition. Yeah.
So, you want to hear a good...
Yes.
Good Michael Jordan story. I mean, along those lines of not getting permission.
Yeah,
sure.
So
definitely.
Yeah, there was when he was playing for the Wizards, he was end of his career. But I mean, it's Michael Jordan. The whole atmosphere changes in the back when it's Michael Jordan. You don't look at Michael Jordan, and I'm like, Jesus, Cher in the house, but and. So, yeah, a whole different story. And so at one point, he's sitting on the baseline. He's sitting near the team, but on the floor. He had just been on the bicycle back there. And I don't know, I just got this crazy idea. I looked over, grabbed my assistant. I said, go get me a basketball and a pen now. Boom. He's out and he's back. And I went over there and I sat down not next to, but kind of near him. The cameras all of a sudden switched to us sitting there. Well, I'm looking at this on the screen up there, and I take this basketball and I roll it around my back, and I roll it right over to him, and I'm leaning way over at this point, holding the ball because I wasn't that close to him, holding the ball, and then I take this pen and kind of wave it like, dude, sign this.
Sign this.
Yeah, you got to sign this, man. And so I sat there for a while, and he just nothing from him. And then finally, he's like, "Come on, man." And I can't. Come on, I'll sign it later. I'm like, "Oh, hey, cool." So I roll the ball back around, and then I scoot closer to him and sit there for a sec, still up on the screen up there. They're not showing the game, and I wait for probably 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Roll the ball back around. How about now? Waving the pen. I'm closer to him now, and scoot a little bit closer even. And finally, he's like, "Man, come on, Rock, you're killing me here, man." And I'm like, "No, I didn't say anything, but I was like, I don't care. You are going to sign this ball in front of everyone."
Yep.
And finally, he took the pen, he signed it, and just then, buzzer, timeout. Camera right next to me on the other side jumps up. I'm showing the camera up close. Michael Jordan, signature. Look at that. And run out. I go to center court. I'm like, what am I going to do now? I'm going to throw this half court shot now. It was, slotted for later in the game. I'm like, Oh,
you had to do it.
I had to.
Yeah.
First shot over the shot clock. I had so much adrenaline. It was just. My assistant goes running out in the stands. He's like a wide receiver. Fans are just like, going in for the tackle. And he grabs his ball, elbows his way back to the court, throws it back to me, and I sink it. Second shot.
Oh, nice.
He fires it back to me, and I hold it up slowly. And Kyle, our announcer, Kyle Speller, he's like, he caught on right away. He's like, anybody want a Michael Jordan signed basketball? Standing O, everybody in the place. Nice. And I take a lap with this ball and then just punt it. Yeah.
Wow. You didn't keep it after that.
No. Come on. A moment like that, you got to.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you have got to punt that thing.
You got to give it to the fans.
You got to give it to the fans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
God, that's amazing. I want to do that so bad, to mess with someone. I love doing that. It's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, part of the magic of being a mascot is you get to do what everybody else wants to do, but can't.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I missed my calling.
Hey, there's still time.
There is still time. That's amazing. I love it. I love those stories. If you have any more that you want to share, those special moments that kind of make you shine.
I will. Man, I could be here all day.
Right, exactly. So let's talk a lot of the stunts. That did you just come up with these? It's just like, oh, I'm gonna jump off a trampoline and then dunk it. I'm gonna do the half court. I'm gonna all these stuff. Was it just you being you? Did you ever get orders or ideas from management? Just like, hey, how about this? How about this? Or
yeah, good question. I did pull from everywhere and anywhere and everywhere I could. I had 40-something games to fill.
Right.
So from day one, I was told, you are doing a bit, you are doing a skit or a stunt or something every game. And I said, okay, if that's the deal, I need first quarter break so I can prepare, blah, blah, blah. There's so much that goes into that. So, I pulled from everywhere I could. Thank goodness that the internet came along. Yeah. That was a big resource, is still a big resource for mascots. Mm-hmm. And other than that, it was calling up, hey, my buddy Wayne with Atlanta. He was a great mentor for me. We would talk about, we came up with the dancing referee. Let's see if we can get a referee to dance, and how do we do that? Yeah. So, a lot of collaboration with the other mascots, and that's awesome. And I will say, one of my assistants came up with this for me. I share this as much as I can, that whenever I'm trying to come up with something now, and for years now, since him, I start with elephants. Elephants. If I got an idea, how do we bring elephants into this? Meaning, how do we go as big as we can?
Nice.
And random. Go big, go random. We're sitting at a brainstorming session for Rocky's birthday one time, and this guy's sitting there, and he's like, "What if we do like a petting zoo?" And outside, he goes, "Yeah. What if we could get an elephant?" I'm like, "Ding, ding, ding, ding." From then on, go big. Go as big as you can. How big can we go? What kind of a race could I do? Mm-hmm. So I've raced to the top. Climbing from center, going from center court all the way to the top. And okay, what's the next step? Let's go around. So those types of things. How it just one thing leads to the next.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Do a backwards shot. Okay. Do a backward shot on a ladder. Do a backward shot on a stilts on. Yeah, on. Pretty soon, on a ladder, 30 feet, backwards.
Yeah, well, which brings me to my next question. You've been hurt before, right?
Yes, I have. A couple times. Yes, I have.
I know. I can't imagine being on stilts and throwing a basketball backwards.
Yeah.
Number one, making it. And number two, I would eat some serious, what, if I had to do that. So how many times have you been hurt?
Even thinking for like 30 years, if you hurt yourself just once a season, that's 30 times.
Yeah.
Right there. I can't even imagine.
Yeah. I've broken a few things, not as many as some others, but I've broken both my feet, my heels, from jumping off of something jumping off the hoop. Did a game in a cast. Did several games in a cast.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I've broken my back, L3 and 4, shattered those. broken my shoulder. Twice. Wow. Yeah, and dislocated my other one several times. Broken my teeth on the rim.
You have beautiful teeth.
Thank you.
I would have never known that. So what happens if this is you do have pretty teeth? You're creepy. You do. If you hurt something mid game, do you keep going, or what happens after that?
Most of the time, when I broke my back, I couldn't keep going.
Well, yeah, I would think so.
Another one, when I broke my shoulder, it actually wouldn't go back in, and so I couldn't go back out after that one. So I literally couldn't put my arm down.
Oh my gosh.
And I was in Guadalajara, Mexico, traveling with Magic Johnson's team that he formed after he retired from the NBA. Yeah, that was an interesting one. It went back in after we hit a pothole.
My God!
In the quote ambulance, which was just a van with a wooden bench in the back. Yeah, I'm laying on that, hit a really good pothole, shoulder went back in. But yeah, after that one, I was actually scheduled to leave from Guadalajara to go to London to perform for a week with Muggsy Bogues and I had to do a lot of dunk shows out there with a broken left shoulder.
Oh man.
Holy goodness. Crap. There's no way I could. Okay, that's awesome. I don't know if that's amazing or a little
Yeah, well, to me the show had to go on.
Yeah.
I mean, even if I was sick, there was nobody that jumped in.
Yeah.
Who's going to jump in?
Right.
Yeah.
And when I broke my back, the Nuggets leaned into it and they made a big thing out of it.
Yeah.
Hey, Rocky's out. He's on the injured reserve, and we're not going to have Rocky for a few games. Mm-hmm. And they used it. They did videos and all that, showing me and showing the recovery of Rocky. And there was so much
That's cool. Yeah, you're completely a part of the team. I'm glad they did that.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And that was kind of thinking outside the box on their part,
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lean into it.
I'm sure there's a ton of highlights, but how was the championship game?
Oh, man. It was amazing. It was a little surreal. I never thought I would ever... Okay, so when you guys advertised that I'd done this from 90 to 2021, that was accurate. In 2023... so my son had taken over for me, but he had some issues with his hips. He had to have surgery. I was on the phone when he told the boss, hey, I can't, I got to have surgery. I can't go, I'm on crutches right now, that type of thing. And so on the phone right then, he says, Ken, can you step back in? Yes, of course. I mean, this is my son. I'll, whatever it has, and this is Rocky.
Yeah. I'll come out of retirement.
Of course. Yeah. And I was still being paid to mentor. And yeah, I got back in for the second half of that season, and it just kept going. And I thought, if this goes all the way, this is a storybook ending. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, it's the last game. And I called a buddy of mine, Rob Wycall, who used to be the Spurs mascot, the Coyote. So what, tell me about winning. What do I need to know? He says, as that clock's ticking down, you get right next to the court. You get on that line, because as soon as that happens, they rope it off, and you cannot go under or around that rope. Mm-hmm. So me and my assistant Cade, who's my son, we're standing right there. Buzzer goes. We rush the court, get inside the ropes, and it was amazing. I literally stood there with tears running down, just looking at all the confetti.
Nice.
Oh, and this is just amazing. Yeah, I'm so happy to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And, finally.
I'm looking at your fingers.
We were expecting to see a ring.
Oh,
right there. See the Rocky ring?
Yeah, no, I haven't gotten one. So
Who do I need to call?
Yeah, seriously.
If I knew, I'd probably make a call myself. But no,
Okay.
I do not have a ring. I'd like to say. I'd
You
like
should
to
get
say
a ring.
yet,
Yeah,
Yet. Okay.
but it's been a while.
Okay.
that's
Yeah,
been a while.
I was told. Yeah, maybe I was told someday I would get one.
Okay. Well, this is really special. You have one of your sons here with
Yeah,
you, which
yeah.
that's amazing because off air we had talked a little bit about legacy, and it's very cool that you're working with family. And so how has that dynamic been to have your kiddos involved with you? I can't call them kiddos anymore. They're all grown.
He's like 29
I
over
know,
here. He's like
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it's been very special. I tell you what, when backing up right to the final game there, the confetti's falling. I turn around and there's Stan Kroenke, and he puts out his hand and shakes my hand. I grabbed him and I pulled him in close, and I said, "Hey, I want to say thank you. Your family has helped raise my family." And it's true. Since they were all, before they were born, I was doing this, and they've been on the court with me since they were I have 3 boys, all 2 weeks old. And what a special experience to be able to, and what a special opportunity to be able to raise them around this atmosphere, and yet be able to have the flexibility to do the dad thing and be at their games and be at their wrestling matches. And I remember, being at the wrestling match, calling the game director saying, "Hey, I'm rolling in last minute. I am going to see my son wrestle. I'll be rolling in last minute," and everything's set, and literally running in the back door, throwing everything on, and it's go time, go right out the door to intros. And it's just been a really surreal opportunity. My oldest son is the mascot for the Pistons, and he and I talk every day. How about this? And Dad, what could I do about this? What about this in the office? And what about, so we talk all the time. Cade, my youngest, was my assistant for the last few years. Before that, Drake was my assistant for a long time. He did a bit where I handed the ball off to him at one point. He goes down in a full suit, does a flip dunk, jams it home, and place goes nuts. I mean, I formed a dunk team with them. They were the Junior Nugget Dunkers at one point. Awesome. They all had little jerseys on and nicknames, and
cool.
Yeah.
That's really amazing. I didn't realize that your entire family was in this together. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's so special.
Yeah.
And especially to be able to have one of them take your role, fill your shoes.
It was amazing.
Into Rocky. I mean, what an amazing feeling.
To be on the court and have my son next to me, with me being out of the costume, with him being there. I loved every second of it. It was just so amazing to me. I got to sit back. I got to hand him the ball for the half court shot. And his first season, I would tell you, he was on with that shot. And it was crazy though. I'd miss one, or he'd miss one. He'd be like, he'd catch Heat in the back. Dude, right there. Hey man. Hey, got to teach your boy some things. You missed that tonight.
See, I would say perfect. You come out here and you should
right. Let's see what you can do.
No problem.
Yeah,
Exactly.
He had a good record with that. His first year was phenomenal. Second year, still having the issues. The first surgery didn't work for him, so he, it was heartbreaking. But he had to have double hip replacement surgery. Came back better than ever, and so luckily for that. But just so you know, everyone, he is not there. If you didn't read the Westward article, he is no longer. So the Solomons are not are completely out of the Nuggets now.
Completely out of the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, so no more.
I know. That's interesting because I think tonight is, the first night, right, for the Nuggets.
Yeah, it's our opener, right?
Opener.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, they're going to... Good luck from the 50-yard, from the 50-yard line, from mid-court.
Yes.
I'll be secretly going, Psh, Ken could have done that. No, that truly is super special to have your family truly all involved.
Yeah. Can I have Cade jump in here on the mic here real quick?
Yeah.
I want to.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course.
Yeah. I want to ask him.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yep, you are alive. There you go.
What it was like to have your old man out there.
What it was like?
Yeah.
I don't know, because, growing up, going to games, we would hang out in the locker room and then run out there to see him perform. But we never watched the games. We would always play soccer in the back or something and get in trouble from the police officer saying, the team is... be quiet.
Wrong thing to say.
But
Dad, you're amazing.
yes, we would go out in there and watch him. We would not watch the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. No, I gotcha. It's a very different element
different.
when you grow up and you're
When you're there all
around
the
it.
time.
Yeah.
But we would
for
roll
sure.
in there after school with our
Nice.
backpacks on and
Yeah, we'd be
do homework.
Yeah, back in the back doing homework.
We
I'd
were
come
always
back
there.
in and I'd be getting, hey, Dad, can you help me with this? So we'd sit down and do a little homework right there and
Nice.
run back out.
Doing homework in between, Rocky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd run out there and watch him do a skit.
And then we'd drive home and they would just fall asleep in the back and
Of the Rocky Mobile.
of the Rocky Mobile.
The Rocky Mobile.
Oh, yeah. The Rocky Mobile.
So you got to take the Rocky Mobile out and
Yep.
drive
would.
around. And
Yeah. They let me drive that all over. I just told him, I said, hey, it's advertising. Wherever I go, it's advertising.
Pick us up and drop us off from school.
Nice.
In it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I bet
Totally normal for
after
us.
school.
Totally normal. It didn't click for me until we were much older, where I was like, oh, this is different, I guess. But
This
yeah.
looks different from other cars.
Yeah. People don't usually do this.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah. My oldest son, we were driving home one night, and it was after we had met Shaq and Kobe. I took them upstairs. Shaq and Kobe were working out in the weight room upstairs, and we went up and got a picture with them. I said, hey, could you take a picture with my boys? Oh, yeah. So we did all that. And as we're going home, my son, it's dark, and the other two are in the back, and he's asleep. And he goes, Dad, this is kind of cool. I said, yeah. Wait, what? He goes, I'm realizing that most kids my age don't get to do stuff like we're doing. I go, yeah, you mean like taking a picture with Shaq and Kobe?
Yeah, exactly.
And he's like, yeah, I don't think anybody else in my school does that. I'm like, yeah, he was like 10, 11. Yeah.
That's awesome. It is very special. Very unique way to, grow up and be
Now your oldest
introduced
is going to be doing that to his kids.
Right? Yeah, he's already got 2, and he's using them on the court already. And,
Oh, nice.
so I'm a grandpa.
You are just 2.
Just 2 and one on the way
grandkids. Nice.
next month.
Awesome. Congratulations.
3rd grandchild.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Spread the legacy. I love it. That is
Yeah.
very, very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm just so in awe. There's so many stories that I want.
I could sit here and talk for hours.
I know.
Exactly.
My question, I think, I know we're running out of time. This is so great. Thank you for coming in, both of you. If you could pass on anything to, I know you have, and to your family, of course, but for those listening that either want to break out into something where people have told them no, or if you could give some advice to someone wanting to be a mascot, or what would you pass on as words of wisdom?
Thanks for the question. And this is something that I've thought about, and it's, to me, I always think that people get I don't know. They put a limit on themselves, and it's because of fear and whatever else you've been trained to be, or geez, you should be quiet, and kids, you should be seen, not heard, blah blah blah, all that. I just think my philosophy has always been, what if I can? Instead of what if I can't? What if I can? What if I can get paid to play? I mean, that was how I started with this. I want to play for a living.
Literally.
Yeah.
Just play around.
I want to play. Yeah. And not saying that every moment was playing, because there was a lot that went into all this, and more than anybody could imagine. But it's, and even me, but I always thought, what if I can? What if I can throw a backwards half-court shot? What if I can throw, again, that whole, what if I could go bigger? And what if I could, what if I could run from center court and climb to the top, but then go out the building, run across the building, rappel back in, run back to center court in one break? Or, what?
That's insane.
Or what if, I just always, what if I can, and that, I think that started with my parents. What if we could hike 100 miles across the Mojave Desert
with no supervision?
With no supervision.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, my brother came up with that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Can we hike to Grandma's house? Just the three of us?
Oh,
sure.
so it was a sibling.
What if we can?
Okay.
Yeah. So that's always been my, what if I can instead of what if I can't? It's opened up a lot for me.
That is awesome. Well, you said you get paid to play. I'm curious, some of these NBA players get paid, more than $150 per game, I would think.
Yes.
You made maybe a little more than $150 per game.
A little bit more.
A little more, like $250.
Hopefully to cover the medical bills for
right.
one.
That's true. That's true. Somewhere in the ballpark of,
Oh, well, the internet says I make all kinds of money.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure. I'm sure. The internet always says,
Yeah, don't believe everything you hear. I'll just reiterate that.
Yeah.
I'll just dispel that now. No, I did not make that. What I do want to know is, with that big number out there, everybody says I make $625,000 a year. Yeah. So what I want to know is, and I did not make that. Now, what I want to know is, hey, so take a poll. Who thinks that mascot should not make that, or I should not make that? And who should more or less? Should I make more, or should I make less? I guess that's where I'm going. Well,
it's different too. I mean, now it's just like his money's completely different than it was in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
I mean, definitely. With everything that you've done in the 30 years in there, I mean, 6 figures all the way, at least.
I concur wholeheartedly.
So when you think about how many impressions out there, you guys know about impressions.
Of course.
What you do, you want eyes on what you do. So how much do you have to pay for advertising? How much do you have to on all that? How many headlines? How many, when you start to really put all this together, what is it worth to a team?
That's so true. That it is. It's a lot of elements.
How many Rocky dolls?
Oh,
how many
gosh.
merch? We're talking.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of, you brought up Michael Jordan. I mean, when he made his deal, man, I mean.
He made more on merchandise and everything like that than he did in the NBA.
Exactly.
By far.
That's a solid point. You really, when people think about the team, they think about Rocky. And that is you. You invented who Rocky is.
Wow. Thank you.
And not to mention the kids, too. When they go to a game, maybe they're a little bit bored because there's, what are we doing? And dad's just, and the kids, whoa, who's that? And you become a part of that experience and everything. So,
so fun. So fun.
And it has changed, as you said. You can't mess with the players. You can't mess with them. You can't. Don't cause waves. or anything. Just be there and wave.
That's boring.
Yeah, I know. It was so fun going back in Mick Nichols' time and just watching you mess with people was the best. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to get decked. Like, how is this person not just punching him right in the face right now?
Yeah.
And they wouldn't do it because you were in that costume.
Yeah. Well, Charles did. Charles Barkley did. Yeah, several times. Knocked me off my stilts. He punched me, bloodied my face sometimes, and
he wasn't a fan.
This right here is from him, I think. No, that was from another thing. Yeah, the scar right there. No, but he bloodied my lip one time, bloodied my nose, loosened my tooth.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
You guys had a great relationship.
We did. Yeah.
It's
a love-hate thing.
Was it? I was curious. Is he just like that with everyone, no matter with the game, or was this like, oh man,
was it you
my
specifically?
Rocky
What'd you do
vendetta
to start this?
Oh, I called him a chicken. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with a big poster. Yeah. Number 34 on this big stick figure chicken that was probably as wide as this room right here.
Okay, so you kind of had it coming.
8 by 8. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of it. Yeah.
Right.
Coming, but hey.
Yeah.
That is actually pretty funny. I call him a chicken with a huge billboard. I mean, I honestly might punch someone if they said, you suck, and had it on a billboard. I'd be like, you got something coming to you.
Yeah.
So
But
the
that
joy of
became
being
a thing with
mascot.
us.
Yeah.
That was so fun.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and he doesn't take himself too serious either. And he knows that this is entertainment. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Some of these players that are just so, I got money, I got, this, I'm above all that. Shoot, come on.
Yeah.
This is just entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
It's temporary.
Yep.
That is true.
It's a game and it's entertainment.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, go ahead. No, I agree. It's sometimes we talk about that a lot in the world. You have in any industry, you have people who think they're, whatever they are. And I'm like, you're really not all that much, to be honest.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Don't take yourself too serious.
Are you a good person? Are you going to be fun to go hang out with? If not, I don't want to hang out with you.
Right.
Yeah. And if you have a man bun, I'll cut it off.
Exactly.
That's right.
I can't believe I said that on air. That's awesome. I love that you cut it off.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
there's so many stories. There's so much. There's just, I had a wonderful time just pushing the envelope. I had a wonderful time making a mess. I had a wonderful time. I would go to appearances just in the community, and if somebody got upset about, you made a mess. You left, or you were so loud, or, you brought in a train horn, or, whatever.
Yeah, it's a basketball game.
Well, I mean, even outside, like at a venue, I'm like, well, who you asked to
right?
be here, right? I will be larger than life, right? You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so
Cade, honestly, I got to tell you, Cade and Drake were a big part of the show, making things bigger than life. And, having a good assistant that adds those little touches at the right moment without people seeing that they're there or knowing what just happened, to get to that point or whatever, them, hand me this, boom, all of a sudden I got a confetti everywhere. Just things like that. When I'm walking in, hey, they cue music at appearances. I mean, just there's so much that goes into
all of it.
The performance.
Everything.
Yeah.
Well, this has been so much fun.
Such a pleasure.
I know.
Ken.
Please come back.
Yes.
Anytime.
I would
Anytime.
we would be quiet for an hour just to hear stories. And we would just laugh because I think it's amazing.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I mean, 30 years is quite people don't stay that long anymore. And to have that longevity and to have formed what you've done is quite the accomplishment.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I tell people I was just having fun, just riding it as long as I could. It was so fun. I'm going to plug this a little bit here. Mm-hmm. But people have said, you've got to write a book. So I'm writing a book.
Nice.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah. And I talk about stuff on my podcast. Another little plug there. It's called Between the Fur. And,
That's cute. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, please plug away.
Yeah.
Where can we find you?
The podcast is, anywhere you listen to podcasts, and it's also on YouTube. And yeah, so Between the Fur, and then I'm telling a lot in this book, and it's going to be not just my life story, but it's more like, lessons combined with, just heartfelt moments, and the fact that I believe I was put here. This is not just something that happened. This was meant to be, and talks a lot about like what if I can stuff.
That's
right.
awesome. Do you have a title of the book?
I don't.
Okay.
Not one that I'm going to share. Yeah, because
Okay.
what if it changes?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
The Real Rocky.
Yeah,
I like it.
there's
I'm
There's
more.
so many-
I'm more than a lightning bolt. When lightning strikes.
Lightning strikes.
ooh, and lightning
That's
strikes.
pretty interesting.
Rocky's tail.
Ooh.
Oh, I just came up with that one.
There you go.
See?
Yeah.
Oh, you have so
We need a
many.
brain session.
No.
Right,
Just
right.
means you need to write a couple more books.
Oh, there you go.
Or different chapters can
Okay.
be all these different names.
Yeah, the
Maybe
saga.
a biopic.
The saga
who's going
of
to play
Rocky.
you? Like a movie about
Right?
all this stuff. We got it
Nice.
going.
All right, Hollywood. You heard
Yeah.
it here first.
Well, Ken, even though you are not in that costume and a Solomon is not, you are Rocky to me. So
I appreciate that very much.
It wouldn't have happened without you. Or the first and the only. So thank you very much for coming in. It's such a pleasure.
Thank
having
you. Thank
here.
you. What an honor.
Yeah, thank
Yes.
you.
And thank you to everyone listening too.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they if you've seen me or whatever, I just appreciate everyone as well. I appreciate it's been a huge pleasure to to play this character.
Oh, Denver loves you. Definitely. Well, thanks again. And if you're just tuning in or if you just kind of caught the end of it, it will be up on our YouTube page. Give it about a week or so. And you can subscribe to that and then watch the whole interview right there. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenn Solomon, Rocky with the Denver Nuggets from 1990 to 2023.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's a little
Yeah.
hiccup in there
Just a
where
little.
not a hiccup, a little bit of
A little rest.
yeah. There you go. There you go.
Mountain lion has to rest.
It does. Well, we're going to return you to our regular programming. Be sure to listen in to Kev on the radio coming up here soon at 2 o'clock, 2 to 5. And you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. Take care.